So before we do get into AEW ups and downs, I can't stand here and pretend the events of the last 24 hours didn't happen. That would make me a bigger bald asshole than I already am. And I've already done one video about this, but still, again, ups and downs counts its own series. I can't just pop up like, whoa, here we go, as if I'm Kermit the Frog. So look, everybody that was affected by these crazy cuts that happened in WWE, I just want to know that my thoughts are with you, my feelings are with you, and I hope when all this world madness calms down, you will land on your feet, even if you do go back to WWE, or you go to AEW, or go to New Japan, or you become a massive indie star, I don't care. I hope you all just have smiles and love, and people just randomly send you flowers, because that will make you feel a bit better. But with that out of the way, yes, my name is Simon Miller. Thank you very much for joining me once again, because it is Thursday morning, afternoon, maybe it's Friday, hey, maybe it's Blurb Day, a day I've just made up. But we do need to go through the latest episode of AEW Dynamite, and we give the good bits an up, and we give the bad bits a down. I don't do it. This does it. It's called the finger of power, the pop. And some people are going, it's just a finger on your hand. Well, you don't understand the power. Let's up those downs. I know we started to see it every week, but my word, Jake Roberts. I swear he could be better at cutting promos now than he was back in the day, and he used to be really good then too, but he seems to be improving every week here because he's now focusing more on Lance Archer and telling us why we need to be scared of this giant man. I mean, he made it sound like he was the most angry and pissed off guy ever. He got shunned from America and had to go and make a name for himself out in Japan, and now he's back, and anybody that gets in his way is going to be crushed into one of those cubes and thrown in the bin. This would have been great anyways, but the fact that AEW is producing them, meaning there's some music in the background, well, is exactly what Jake Roberts need in 2020. I don't get how this kind of stuff works, but watch, if I just start randomly playing some music and then I say something that I believe is badass, like I'm gonna rip your arm off and make you eat it, see, if I just say that without the theme, it sounds ridiculous, but with the music, I sound like I'm gonna kick your ass. I mean, if you want to do Jake Roberts Minute every week, AEW, I will stand by it. Give it up. We went straight into the TNT title tournament, which was Lance Archer versus Colt Cabana, and this just carried on all the momentum, because not only did Lance Archer win and carry on this, oh my god, who's gonna hurt everybody, kind of a vibe, but we didn't job out Colt Cabana here. He still looked really good, and he had his own video package where he made it very clear, look, I'm a professional wrestler, and I've been very successful. So yeah, Colt got a few shots in here and there, but as the commentators let us know, and it was Chris Jericho and Tony Schiavone, another salute for them, they were like, look, Lance Archer keeps getting hit, but it's almost as if he draws his energy from this damage. He just likes being in fights. He finished it with the blackout, which proves that he can do his finishing move on bigger guys, and my word, was that a really, really stupid debate we had last week, or a bunch of people on the internet were, even though you can just type in Lance Archer blackout into Google and find a video within seconds. But no, we have to throw giants at each other on Twitter and go, and we never get anywhere. Anyway, Lance Archer is in the next round. I'm very excited to see who becomes the TNT champion. I'm putting my money on Lance Archer. We then had another produced promo, and this time it was featuring Britt Baker, and she was in her dentist office. I never thought I would cheer when I saw a dentist office, but that's what happened recently. Give it up. And she is just such an idiot now, I can't get enough of it, because she was showing clips from her match last week and pointing out where Shida had been really dangerous, and then proclaimed herself to be the winner, even though she lost. Britt Baker is just the ultimate goof now, and man am I buying into it. We had a close-up shot at the end when Britt Baker was just holding a syringe, and I don't even know what that was, but I was chuckling away and realised I was damned entertained. I don't think we're going for this vibe either, but she is a little bit like the Joker. Like there's a slightly deranged atmosphere around her. Honestly, this is the best heel turn or the best character change we have seen in ages. And don't forget, a couple of months ago when we were on Chris Jericho's boat, a load of people in the comments going, well, that was the worst thing I've ever seen. And I was like, no. Britt Baker has something here, and now I feel like a proud parent, even though obviously that doesn't make any sense. And as we know, up to this point, AEW had done a very good job in building the street fight between Jake Hagar and Jon Moxley for the AEW title, and they continue to do that here, because we had the first of many of these little packages where you got two experts to tell us who is going to win in this scrap. And here, not only did they have Taz, but they had Ariel Helwani, who you will know from the MMA world. And of course, Ariel said that Jon Moxley was going to win. Taz said, no, that's not right, other way around. Taz said that Jon Moxley was going to win. Ariel Helwani said that Jake Hagar was going to win, WWE or MMA and wrestling and all the things coming together. It was good, it made it feel legit. Then Britt Baker had a match, and you bet your ass I was pleased. I don't know why I like her so much. I just really do. She entertains me. Just getting it up. It was a squash match too, which certainly didn't hurt. And I think her opponent was called Cassandra Golden, and her nickname was Gold. So when she was coming out, it was the gold one, Cassandra Golden. And my eyes started to I was like lost in the world of abyss. There was just so much gold. But yeah, she super kicked her. Then she gave him a curb stomp over the bottom rope, which looked absolutely devastating. And of course she did that to try and break her teeth, because then Britt Baker wins twice. Not only did she win the match, but afterwards, when you need to get your dental work, you're gonna have to go to Baker's studio. This was really smart. Ron Funches, I can't ever pronounce his name, he's a comedian, he's really good, but I get it all wrong all the time. And Mike Goldberg, the Bellator commentator, but then also commentating on Moxley versus Hagar. And again, they just threw predictions out. It was nice to see other people from other worlds talking about wrestling. We also at this point found out that Double or Nothing will be going ahead in May. Obviously, it's not going to be airing from Las Vegas because Las Vegas is shut down. And I am just going to leave that with you. Maybe you think it's a really good idea. Maybe you think it's a really bad idea. Maybe you're just excited about the distraction. There has been too much negativity over the last 24 hours. I'm just going to give you the information and then move on to something else. Next up, we had the Bubbly Bunch, or something to that effect. And as you can probably figure out, it was the Inner Circle doing a parody of the Brady Bunch. Now, I want to say I love the Inner Circle. I think the amount of creativity and thought they put into all of their skits is brilliant. This one didn't really hit home for me. It's like the ball was coming in and they swung and it kind of like touched the bat and then just fell on the floor. I will say, because this was filmed from all of their houses, they all do have very lovely homes. And Jake Hagar was here lying on a sunbed saying that he was going to kick the shit out of Jon Moxley later. And the highlight was Chris Jericho, because the highlight is always Chris Jericho. Not only was he cooking Ed using like a metal thing in a non-stick pan, which you're not meant to do, but he also went to pour orange juice in a cup and missed entirely. I don't know why this was so funny, but it was. Who gets that wrong? Anyway, we marked things on a curve, and yes, it just wasn't as good as some of the other things that they've done. So it's getting a down, but even I agree, that's a ridiculous down. But hey, it's my show. I can do whatever I want. Watch this. Up. Take the up away. The power that I wield. Sammy Guevara then beat Suge D, and I found this lovely. I know it's an odd thing to say, but I'll just break the fourth wall for a second. Me and Mr. D were both wrestling on the same show in Scotland a few months ago. That's when I first met him, and he was such a nice chap. He was very kind to me. So to see him here on AEW Dynamite, it made me feel all warm and fuzzy inside. Also, it was good. Give it an up. And it was obviously there just to give Sammy a win, but look, Suge got some of his stuff in. They did this funny bit when they were doing a little bit of a dance contest, but eventually Guevara did hit his inverted GTS. He gets the 1, 2, 3, and now he's all ready for his TNT title tournament match against Darby Allin next week. And that's what he said afterwards when he got a microphone. And yeah, he went, Darby Allin, I'm going to beat the shit out of you. Everybody just wants to beat the shit out of everybody on AEW Dynamite. Jake Hagar is saying it. Sammy Guevara is saying it. It's going to be like that South Park episode soon, where we say shib too much and some creature from the deep comes and kills us all. He also called Darby Allin a painted weirdo, and after that he went back to his fallen opponent and started to beat him up, but then thankfully the painted weirdo, Darby Allin, appeared and he chased Sammy Guevara out the ring. I will predict this now. This match will be pure fire. We then had MMA referee John McCarthy and our own Excalibur predicting the Moxley and Hagar fight. The masked one went for Jon Moxley and the MMA referee went for Jake Hagar. You can see the pattern here, but look, these only lasted like, 35, 40 seconds? I dug them. Next up, we had Kip Sabian versus Chuck Taylor, and I just want to say, well done, a round of applause to all the wrestlers who you can see are retraining the brains the more they do enter arena matches, because this was one of the better ones we've seen, and I put it down to, again, both these guys going, what can we do differently given that we're not going to have any fans? Give it up. Chris Jericho overall was a riot on commentary, but I particularly enjoyed him here because he kept going on about Penelope Ford's leather pants just because he too was a fan of leather pants, and you can already guess that this was full of shenanigans and it was full of outside interference. But when we weren't doing that, I tell you, Kip Sabian and Chuck Taylor, they were just flying around the ring and they gave us a lovely back and forth. They also teased a dragon suplex off the top rope at one point, and I sat there and shouted, "My word, don't do that. You don't need to impress the other wrestlers in the crowd," because of course, that's who the audience was. Thankfully this didn't happen. My word, my poor heart. But yeah, look, Penelope Ford kept being a nuisance and Orange Cassidy was trying to balance that out, and that is where we got a very funny spot, where Penelope Ford got up on the apron, she took her jacket off, and she kissed Kip Sabian, and then as soon as she was back down on the apron, Orange Cassidy walked around, he got on the apron, he took his jacket off, and kind of gave himself a little touch on the cheek. That was genuinely funny. Orange Cassidy, I don't understand people that don't get you. You're just a hoot. We also may have started a new story here, because as soon as Orange had jumped back down onto the floor, Jimmy Havoc jumped the guardrail and he gave Cassidy a DDT, and then later on it was announced that yes, next week we're getting that match. So who knows what's going on there. In this fracas too, the referee got distracted. That meant Penelope came off the top. She gave Chuck a Hurricane Rana, and then Kip Sabian, being the smart man he is, utilized the most devastating move in all of sports entertainment, the surprise roll-up, and he got the 1, 2, 3. He did do a really cool bridge on the roll-up though, which made it doubly devastating. And I know that loads of people are going to go nuts over these things because we really could have had 1,000 DQs during this, but I thought AEW did a good enough job to distract the referee, and also I've already talked about it. AEW have come out and said that it's officials' discretion, much like in New Japan. I made my thoughts clear, you all said you didn't care. The most important takeaway is I think that Kip Sabian needed to get a win, and get a win he did. More predictions next. We had actor Dan Soder, who was pinning Moxley, and we had the Proud and the Powerful, who clearly picked Jake Hagar. I mean, imagine they hadn't. We then had a squash match featuring my future tag team partner, Shawn Spears. How you doing, buddy? I'm always watching you. And he was taking on a guy called Justin Law, and yeah, he just whipped him ass. He got a little bit too cocky at one point, did that amateur wrestling thing, when he got down on his hands and knees and said, "Oh man, why don't you try and beat me up?" And because Justin Law clearly watches ups and downs and understands, he tried to use the most devastating move in all of sports entertainment, but unfortunately where he is on the card, he's too low to be able to use it in the way it needs to be used. Pissed Shawn Spears off, he hit the C4, Shawn Spears won. I tell you, the best thing about this pandemic, well not the best thing, but one of the small little silver linings, is that I think featuring Shawn Spears more on TV has actually rehabbed his character a little bit, and that now he's in a much better place. So it served its purpose, and I think another purpose that it did indeed need to serve was just calming us down and giving us a nice little squash match before we got to the main event, which was of course Jon Moxley versus Jake Hagar for the AEW World title in a street fight, no DQ, I'm gonna whoop your ass match. Jim Ross was on commentary. I thought this was very well presented. I thought everyone worked really hard, but unfortunately, yes, it just suffered because we didn't have fans. That's nobody's fault. All Elite Wrestling couldn't have done anything else, but I think if you'd had thousands of people going crazy for this, everybody would have been losing their damn minds. But still, give it an up. And really the major thing, as we've already talked about when it came to Edge and Randy Orton, I know that other people have said when it came to Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa, is that if you do not have people going, "Woohoo, come on man, you're going to do it, I love you so much," you probably shouldn't go 30 minutes. And with commercials, I think this is about 45 minutes of television time or of the show remaining, and there were just little bits where you're like, oh, well, I am enjoying what I'm seeing, but I'm not as invested as I would have been otherwise. And I don't want that to take away from too much, because what they were both doing here was really, really good, because it started off all like MMA with Jon Moxley trying to prove to Jake Hagar, well, you can come at me with that mixed martial arts bullshit, but I will try and find a way to come back. But even when he was able to do that, Jake Hagar was just so much stronger, so he kept flicking him away. So instead, Mox does what he does best, he took it to the outside, and from there they just started throwing each other into barricades. We also saw a back body drop on the floor, and every time I do see that, it hurts my back. What are we doing? The back is really important. Also, Jon Moxley put a figure 4 on around a railing, and not only did I think about Bret Hart, but Jim Ross also referenced Bret Hart. I just like hearing about Bret Hart. It was an absolutely badass bit where Jake jumped off the rope, but he got caught on a DDT, but then when he was in the pin, he reversed it into this head and arm choke thing. And I tell you, Jake Hagar is actually really good at MMA. Of course he's an MMA fighter, but you don't really remember that until you see it. And again, as a war, as a scrap, as a beatdown, this was ticking all the boxes. It just needed some of that atmosphere. And that was the other thing. When we've been watching the other matches on Dynamite, we had the wrestlers around the ring. We didn't have that here. Sounded even more quiet. A chair was soon introduced, because why the hell not? And that didn't lead to the finish. They were just smacking each other with this weapon, and eventually Jon Moxley was able to smack Jake Hagar more. He then gave him the paradigm shift onto the chair, and he is still your AEW World Champion. Also cut a promo afterwards when he got his face right in the camera, and he said that he will fight anyone, anywhere, and that AEW is the best promotion in the world. John, you can't say that. You're not allowed to say stuff like that. When you do, Twitter goes crazy and goes, you're biased, even though you're not, and you just enjoy good professional wrestling. I said it. But look, this was easily not only Jake Hagar's best match, but I would say Jack Swagger's too. I can't remember enjoying a match he has done more than this, and it just cements Jon Moxley as your AEW champion. So yes, it was a little bit long, and yes, it would have been better with fans, but given the context of how it was presented, I'm not sure what else you could have done. And look, did I have a good time? Oh yes, I did. And that brought us to the end of another episode of AEW Dynamite. I have no idea what we're going to do next week. I mean, they announced a few things, the TNT title tournament, and Kenny Omega's going to be on the show. But we are kind of treading water right now, but that's the world. That's not professional wrestling. The world is treading water right now, which is why it's kind of terrifying. But give me my over arrow and give it up. Now, don't forget to leave a comment below and let us know what you think about all of this. Like the video, share the video, subscribe to WhatCulture Wrestling. Then you head over to WhatCulture.com, read yourself some articles, follow WhatCulture on Twitter, WhatCulture WWE, and watch more videos here on WhatCulture Wrestling. My name is Simon from WhatCulture. Thank you as always for tuning in. And look, I hope every single wrestler that was released goes on to even better things. But on a personal level, as we are talking about All Elite Wrestling, AEW, please hire Rusev, push Rusev, make Rusev not only your AEW champion, make him your TNT champion, make him your women's champion, make him your tag team champion, and then introduce a trios title and give that to him as well. Rusev is the best thing that has ever happened to this planet, and I hope now he finally gets his due. That's right.